with guys like Mixon and Dede, going to the NFL. So you get replacements, and you know how college football is. They always got, guys behind the guys, but the quarterback is basically what makes this thing run. And he had an awesome year. Now, Lamar, you would think that what he did last year was amazing, but he followed it up with pretty much, he improved on certain measures of his game. So he had almost 3,500 yards passing, 25 TDs, 6 interceptions, and his interceptions are down. He's down 3. So he threw less interceptions than he did last year when he won. And the brother ran for over 1,400 yards, and he had 17 touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine. And he improved on his completion percentage, going up to 60%. He was at 56, I want to say. Very good numbers. Now he does have a little bit of a knock on him. His team is 8-4. Now, those 4 losses come against teams like Wake Forest, Boston College, I forgot the third team, but they lost to Clemson. So you can understand Clemson. They're the number 1 team in the country. So you can see that. But there were games that, they should have won that they didn't win. But this is more about stats, but I think wins go into consideration a little bit. Last but not least, Bryce Love, running back out of Stanford. He already had a hard enough time coming in to replace Christian McCaffrey. They love Christian McCaffrey. They looked at Christian McCaffrey, as their version of Reggie Bush. He could do no wrong. He was Mr. Everything. He was the jack of all trades. Punt return, kick return, running back, wide receiver, play the slide, whatever. Probably run a wildcat. He did whatever they needed to be done. And this dude only decided, I'm going to hit him with 1,973 yards, 17 touchdowns, and I'm averaging 8.32 yards per carry. So he's basically getting you a first down every other handoff, every other drive, or you know what I'm saying. I'm getting all mixed up, but every other play that he's involved in, he's getting them a first down. All these guys have had awesome seasons, but I'm going to go ahead and eliminate Lamar for what I said earlier. Basically, the 8-4 for me, that kind of hurt him. He didn't win the games that he should have won, but he had an awesome year. And I think some of the voters are going to look at it too as that, well, he won last year, even though it shouldn't matter. But I think they're going to look at he won last year. He had an awesome season. So it's not like we're totally robbing him, of the Heisman Trophy. Because it's very hard to win 2 Heisman trophies, let alone back to back. So I think Lamar will be out of there. I think he'll actually finish 3rd on this list. So it's between Baker and Bryce. So it's like, which one you gonna go for? Which one are you gonna go for? Now you got Baker, who had an awesome year, but he got some tendencies and some things that he did on the field that wasn't too kind. Then you got Bryce, the guy who, like I just said, came in, replaced Christian McCaffrey, did a great job. But here's the thing. He's out west. Maybe a lot of people didn't get to see his games. So that could hurt him. But at the end of the day, when a choice has to be made and someone has to be named winner of the Heisman Trophy, I'm going to give it to Baker Mayfield. Although all the crazy stuff that he did and, all that stuff, it's overshadowed by their 12-1 and his numbers. Got to give him credit. The numbers are there. The winning percentage is there. He's the prime reason where they're at now, even with losing players from last year. They're even in a better position. They didn't even make the playoffs last year. So they're in the playoffs, just being in the playoffs. but they're number 2 overall. A lot of that has to do with Baker Mayfield. So I'm going to give it to Baker. I'm going to just say he's going to be the winner. We'll see, of course, this Saturday, and they'll make their, announcements, and they'll draw it all out and, build it up and everything, and we'll watch, and go from there. And then if someone else wins, I think we'll probably be surprised. But I think this is Baker Mayfield. For a long time, this has been his to lose. So if he doesn't win, I think I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if someone else wins. On this. So, as I told you, we got some folks that's going to continue to jump in the chat room. And just like that, Clay Lee Klepto Ball Davis is in the building. So, shouts out to you, sir. DJ Knox, last week's winner of the Bluetooth speaker, he is in the building as well. What's up? Miss Mocabella, I think we already sent shouts out to her. And DJ Nunu is also in the building. So we're going to still get people coming in, as this show keeps rolling. But don't forget, for the people that just joined in, we're going to have another call in to win a Bluetooth speaker, a portable Bluetooth speaker, a little bit later on in the show. I'll let you know when you can call in and test your trivia knowledge, And shouts out to my man, Clutch Talk Sports, who's in the building. Kevin is out there. So appreciate you for joining us tonight, sir. And appreciate the love that he dropped. He dropped the Wait a Minute show on his show. He didn't have to do that. So I appreciate the love as always. So we're going to stay in college football. We're going to move on from the Heisman. And we're going to touch bases on this Final Four. So we just brought up about Oklahoma being in it. So at the end of the day, you had all your championships over the past weekend. SEC championship, Big Ten championship, Pac-12. The list goes on and on and on and on. So a lot of these teams, were vying for bowls, bowl bids and all that stuff. But it was only a handful of teams that was looking to get into the playoffs. So your 4, as we already know, number 4 is Alabama, number 3 Georgia, number 2 Oklahoma, and number 1 Clemson. So I told people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't listened to this show before and this is your first time, I will always talk about when I was right. But I also will talk about when I was wrong. But this is not one of those moments. Right now, we're talking about why I was right. I told people, do not be surprised. We're going to start off with number 4. Do not be surprised if Alabama gets in and jumps over Ohio State, even though Ohio State was in the Big Ten championship. Well, that kind of sounds familiar, right? Even though Ohio State was in the Big Ten championship, and they won the Big Ten championship. So Ohio State beat Wisconsin, not handily. I did say they would need to beat them a beat down, for them to get in. And when I say a beat down, I'm talking about like 42-7, a beat down. And that did not happen. So Alabama sitting at home, chillaxing, slid right on into the 4th spot, and it makes all the sense. It makes all the dollars in the world to put them in, especially at the 4th spot. They were sitting at 5. They were sitting at 5 for a reason. Remember, Georgia was 6, on this ranking before all the championship games went down. So number 5 was there. To me, I think they put them there for the reason why it happened. They were banking on Ohio State to win, but they were banking on Ohio State not to win handily. Ohio State just benefited from this last year. Remember, Penn State went to the Big Ten championship, won the Big Ten, but for whatever reason, Ohio State still got in, and people couldn't get that. So Ohio State really can't be mad, because they benefited from it last year. This year, they didn't. So to me, it's a wash. It's not for the seniors that played last year, but it's a wash, So Alabama slides in there. And I say it makes all the dollars in the world because now you have yourself a number 1 versus number 4 rematch of the past 2 national championship games. Clemson versus Alabama. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. You can't build this up Both Ohio State and their fans travel too. But this whole thing with Alabama and Clemson, it's 1-1. They're going to sell it as this is the tiebreaker. They're going to use this as a mini co-championship game. These ticket prices are going to be astronomical. People are going to be watching. People who do not like Alabama is going to watch. People who love Alabama, like 334 Bama boy, will be watching and will be sitting there and saying, "Roll Tide," So this build-up, I mean, I don't like either one, but I will be watching that game. Well, of course, after, I do the show on Saturday, shameless plug, Wait a Minute show, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I will be watching that. I will be watching that just to see, can Alabama, one, beat Clemson, two, run into and we'll get to that in just a second, run into who I think they will see, and can in this end up being pretty much what it probably would have been before playing. And I know I said a lot of stuff and that probably not make sense, but give me a second and it will. So this whole build-up with Alabama and Clemson, this is going to be two titans and all this stuff. You're going to get all that, a hype music, hype noise, and all this. This is going to start tomorrow. Trust me. Between those two, I'm going to say Alabama figures it out. I don't think they'll just blow them out. I can't see Clemson just letting them that happen, but I see another close game. The last two games were close. These teams know each other pretty well. The coaches know each other pretty well. They both are up for the task. They know what is on the line, and you got, of course, you're going to have all your alumni and all this stuff of previous players that will be there to watch this game. So it's going to be a lot of hype involved, but I think it will be a close game. I'll probably say, 2017, somewhere around there. But I'm going to get a win to Alabama. Alabama will figure out a way to pull this out. Now, second game is going to be Georgia versus Oklahoma. And it's really simple on this. Georgia got mangled by Auburn. They know what that feeling is. They know what's on the line. They won the SEC championship just recently, and the last time they won was 2005. So they know that it's been a long time, and they got a great opportunity ahead of them to take advantage. They don't want to be the guys that mess this up. Georgia has been it seems like they had been on the path to really making this noise, to really make an impact, to put their foot, down and say, we are here. And they always have this hiccup. And when they lost to Auburn, it was kind of like, is this that hiccup? But they recovered from it. Kirby Smart, got to give him credit. They took care of business. They took care of Auburn. They avenged that loss. And now I think they're going to go in. And I just don't think Oklahoma has a chance. Even with Baker Mayfield, I think Baker Mayfield will get frustrated. I think he will, end up making mistakes and that will cost his team. And Georgia will win this game, which, of course, will set up Georgia versus Alabama. Now, of course, this hasn't happened yet, so there's no point in talking about those two teams unless it just happened. But these are the two teams that I'm going to pick, and we're going to have another SEC championship for it all. So I'm not surprised, by that at all if that's how it goes down. So, but this will be a really good playoff. And I know a lot of people are going to, talk about, well, Ohio State should have got in and all these other people. I know Mocha Bella want to make a case for the Miami Hurricanes and all this stuff. But trust me, ladies and gentlemen, do not be surprised. I'm going to tell you this again. It will be on the cusp. I think it'll be here sooner than later. I think eventually the NCAA, they see how this thing plays out. And if they can make money, of course, this is a business. If they can make money, they will do it. But I see an 18 playoff in the future, in the soon future. So, of course, this doesn't help all the teams right now, but you had to give it 4 to start with to see how it worked. If it works well, then let's tweak it a little bit. And I think that's what they're going to do, So